Young people play a crucial role in the development of a country. They are, of course, a valuable resource that contributes to the economic, social, and to the cultural advancement of every nation. What then happens to a society when the youths remain stagnant while the world is actually rapidly changing? Hello, televiewers. Good evening, and thank you for joining us on Issues this Friday evening. We are coming to you live from Buea at the studio of Divine Mercy Radio Television. It is an honor to have you join us on the program. Today we shall be assessing the contributions of the youth in the development of a society or a nation, and we are going to be looking at some of the challenges that lie ahead of a society when the world is rapidly changing, but the youths are stagnant. You can join us on this conversation using the number you find on the screen by sending us your opinion through WhatsApp, or you can follow us on Facebook at Divine Mercy Radio Television Service, where you can drop your opinion on the comment section and that shall be made known on the program. I am Fomucha Mirabel for presentation, inviting you to stay tuned as we roll on with the program. Coming right after the break, I shall be introducing to you our guest. Our topic of discussion today is how can the youths remain relevant in a rapidly changing society? And joining us on this beautiful edition of the program, we have no other persons than two giant men. They are giants in their heads, you know. What they carry up here is very, it's something which is worth applauding, and they're going to be sharing with us their wealth of knowledge when it comes to this area of the youth and their contributions to the society and how they can remain relevant in a world like ours. We have here Mr. Amungwa Gerald, who is the proprietor of Champions Chartered and Vocational Institute of Buea. Hello, Mr. Amungwa.
Hello, Mira.
It's a pleasure having you once again on the program.
It's a pleasure at my end.
Thank you so very much for saying yes to our invitation. And we also have here Mr. Aya Abine. He is an entrepreneurial coach, a writer, a motivational speaker. He is just so many in one, and we are pleased to have him join us on Issues today. Hello, Aya.
Hello, Mirabel. I'm tempted to say if they have to summarize or say I'm a servant of God. Yeah, but you know, it's always a pleasure to be here because life, and of course with somebody as powerful as Mr. Amungwa, but life is about repercussions or results for us, the coaches and the consultants, and to have a chance to share information that could lead to a particular action backed by level of conviction is the biggest opportunity we could have. So thank you for giving us this chance, and I'm sure that together with Gerard, we should be able to get a few people to move forward in their lives.
Thank you for joining us, and now let's roll. We are talking about relevance. How can the youth remain relevant in a rapidly changing world? So I would like us to look at the terminology relevance when it comes to this context of discussion today, and I'll begin with you, Mr. Ayabine.
Okay, thank you very much. Once again, it's always amazing to meet you out there, the viewers, because without you, there is no us.
Yeah.
Just permit me, maybe in the context of maybe our Cameroon, but in a changing continent, in a changing world.
Yeah.
I would want you to allow me to look at this from the perspective of relevance versus popularity.
Okay.
And I think that is something which, if it's articulated correctly, it will help some people out there. Because I think there is that, call it confusion. And that's why, you know, there is this tendency to want to blow, as I would say. But anything that gets blowed up, like a tire, could explode, like a balloon could explode. But now we are talking of relevance.
Relevance, not popularity.
Not popularity.
Because you can be popular without being relevant.
And so that's why I'm thinking that in this conversation, for us to arrive at something more sustainable. Because in what I do in my business, it's building sustainable businesses. Because you can build a business which is not sustainable, especially in a rapidly changing world where there is so much going on socially, there is so much going on economically, and so it's easy to get into a trend without necessarily having a strong foundation. And without a strong foundation, it's only a matter of time and then you crash. So if we're talking relevance, it means we can only be relevant when we talk about a legacy. And about legacy means there has to be sustainability. And so the only time that maybe, from my perspective, of course, as somebody who specializes in productivity and business leadership, I think you are only relevant, or I believe you're only relevant when you produce sustainable value. That's to say, if you are providing solutions, if you are solving problems, it should only be problems that will go the long term. Without that, you might only be popular. And that's why, even though Christ Jesus was worshipped, let me use that word, Hosanna was sung, just about 5 days later, the same people nailed him on the cross and they selected a thief and a killer, Barabbas, over him. So I think that for us to really be able to arrive at something sustainable, I just felt, talking about this term relevance, we should be able to separate popularity from, relevance, from leaving a legacy, from being sustainable, and all of that.
Okay, so if I got you correctly, relevance in your term is something that can pull on for a very long time.
Absolutely.
Not just to be popular within a very short period of time, and after that you go off the market. Mr. Mungo, I want to hear your opinion on this.
Thank you very much, Mira and Albi. I really admire your contribution. Let's start with the context of youth. When you look at United Nations documents, it will define youth as those between the ages of 15 to 24.
Okay.
When you come in the context of Cameroon, they see youth as those between the ages 15 to 35.
Yeah.
And if we come to the context of relevance, it's about impact. It's impact. When we talk about impact, it means changing the game, doing anything that is useful. Like my brother Riley said, that you should not contextualize it, and our viewers should not take it for popularity. Just come to a neighborhood where a young man volunteered that, I'll go and check the electricity bill each time we don't have electricity in this environment. He's being relevant to that community. Come to think of a truck guy who is doing his job very well. He carries your things, give them at your spot. He charges his money, he collects his money, he makes sure he does not take anything out of he's being relevant to the society. So relevance has to do with contributing value. And let me share one thing with you. When you want to contribute, you must start with the little things. If you are too big to do little things, you will be too small to handle big things. If you are too big,
to do little things, you'll be too small to handle big things.
Yes. So if you want to be relevant, ask yourself, in the context of your life at this point in time, what value am I adding? Come to think of a young man who decided that every month I will give 1 hour to clean the church. That's a humanitarian activity. You don't need to go and sponsor an orphanage. At that point in time, you are being relevant.
You're being relevant.
Yes.
Okay.
Come to think of an elderly person who is in one neighborhood who does not have anybody to care for, and you decide that each time I'll just come and talk about medical tips, or I'll just come and share 30 minutes of my time with this person that the society see. You are into humanitarian activity, and you are being relevant. Yes.
Okay, so summarily, you're looking at relevance as the immediate action that helps a society in one way or contributes to a society in one way or the other.
Yeah.
And we are going to be looking at this too, because we are looking at, yes, we are talking at the now, but in a world that keeps changing, everything is changing. Do we stay at that point where we have a young man at the Muya market, for example, staying there with the truck, waiting for the customer to come and then get the goods to the car? Or we are going to move over to that point where people do home delivery? So, yeah, go ahead.
Mira, we are getting to the level. If you stand on the same position, your relevance will soon end.
Exactly.
If you stand on the same position, the world is changing.
Yeah.
The world is changing. If you embrace any activity today, you need to tell yourself, let's come with a life of vision. If you have a vision, what is vision? Future aspiration, my dream. What is mission? My purpose in life. Now, as a time changes, you need to change. You need to change. You need to change in every dimension
to ensure that
you meet up with
the current
demand.
Yeah.
And if you are helping today to cater for mama, and another person is able to take just a video, share it online, and get 1,000 people that can support that one person, that person's contribution in the society is more than yours.
Exactly.
So at any point in time, you obviously need to start small, but as the time go by, you need to expand your horizon to see what you can add to society and to yourself.
Thank you so very much. To give more credibility to our topic of discussion, we decided to look at or to have an assessment of the contribution of the youths in our society today. And I'll begin with you, Mr. Ayabini.
Well, maybe we'll try to segment,
okay,
so that it's easier to, at the end of the day, evaluate.
Yeah.
But before even getting to that, I want to add a bit to what Gerald shared. And it's about, because when we say the little things you do, sometimes we might also get too carried away with doing things out of us without doing things inside of us.
Okay.
And that comes in the context of this rapidly changing world. Excuse me, because the danger sometimes is to try to love your neighbor more than yourself. And you might now be trying to add value out there without adding value to yourself. And most of the time, from my experience so far, almost a decade now, I've noticed that businesses struggle, institutions struggle, because the person is trying to add value to the world without necessarily adding value to himself or herself.
Okay.
When I looked at the book of Genesis chapter 1, you will discover that God did not bring man without setting up the environment.
Okay.
You see. And so for you to really, that's why you said at the beginning, I talked about the sustainable aspect of the conversation. Because without that, you might actually be doing something good and relevant, but in the long run, you end up hurting yourself. It would not be sustainable. Okay. And that's why there is that need, therefore, in this rapidly changing world. So how do I stay in touch with the rapidly changing world? It means you must have a growth mindset. You must have a growth perspective. And that's where the challenge comes, because sometimes you get into the comfort zone. And the reason why Christ will always want to say, push you. He say, oh, you're doing all these things, but go and sell everything you have. And then come and follow me. Not necessarily that you have to sell everything as such, but he's saying that step out of the comfort zone.
Out of the comfort zone.
That's where the good things happen. And that's why if you look at the contribution of the youth today, it's not the best. It's also true that if you look at the way things are going, especially looking at our Cameroon as context, things are changing, but it could be faster. Now, but why is it not faster if you ask me? For example, you know, as Gerard said, it's all about the vision. And King Solomon said that where there is no vision, people cast off restraint. So whether we're looking at their economic contributions, whether we're looking at their social contributions, whether we're looking at what's happening in the religious sphere, whether we're looking at technology or science, you come back to the fact that anything that has to change is a function of a person's vision. Unfortunately today, many people are trying to have a vision without identifying who they are. And that's why there's a serious issue with the contribution we are giving, either to our community, either to the state. Most of the time, because it's not from a sustainable perspective. It's from a perspective of now. And that's why you see I mentioned about blow and then grow. Because anything that blows would explode. But if you grow, then you can remain. That's why if you look at the concept of money mastery, they say don't just make money, but you should be able to manage money. You should be able to multiply the money. But today, it's only about the first M, which is to make money, and then you squander, right? And so you have youth who dominate those who maybe drink or consume alcohol or beverages. And at the end of the year, they happily publish that in Cameroon, we have taken 1.1 billion liters, which gives about 900 billion or something.
800 billion
plus or something. Remember, they did not mention champagne. They did not mention whiskey, which means it's blowing through the roof. And so we have a Cameroonian society in a very rapidly changing continent, in a very rapidly changing world, where the young people generally don't have a sense of vision. And I feel that even though there is an improvement in the contribution they are giving in different sectors, a lot more could be done, can be done if we come from a stance of vision. If we continue to have young people who don't have vision, they will cast off restraint, which has to do with discipline of yourself. When you begin to hold yourself back from pleasures, you will contribute more. That's why I think it's Ecclesiastes chapter 12 verse 1 says that know God in the days of your youth. That sentence was not just written. It's because in the youth you are the peak of your creativity, you are the peak of your energy, you are the peak of your ability to innovate, you are the peak of your ability to adapt. Because when you've done something for the past 60 years, sometimes it's difficult to adapt compared to when you're much younger. And deeper research has shown that by the time you are 20 years, your creativity is at about 10%, which means from 0 to 19, almost 90% of your creativity. But that's the time when people are, because of puberty, are completely lost in the world, and so you don't even contribute 1/1,000,000th of what you're capable of doing. So in summary, I think that the youths are trying in terms of contribution, but a lot more, which is the reason why we have this kinds of conversation on issues. We need vision. And that's why I'm one of those who I keep saying, and this I'm sure I've been here and I've said on 3 episodes, this should be the 3rd, that we need to say, so how do we give young people vision? We need to start having personal development as a subject, as a course, right from primary school. So by the time you leave the primary school, you already have a direction you're going. When you have a clear direction early, you become an expert in that area. When you become an expert in that area, you will contribute something unique and long term, because you will not just look from the standard perspective. So there is that need for us to bring that in to be able to help the youth to improve their contribution.
Now you're talking about we are supposed to have a vision-driven youth.
Absolutely.
That's what we are supposed to have in a rapidly changing society. And you also mentioned the fact that yes, the world is changing, and sometimes we find ourselves trying to change the world or move with the world without looking at ourselves.
Absolutely.
Which means we have to go back to ourselves.
There you go.
If this world is changing in all the different spheres, be it economic, social, or religious, how can I change myself to adapt to this rapid change? I think that's what you're trying to
say.
That's the point. Okay, and Mr. Gerald, what will you say is the contribution of the youth in our society today?
Like, let me begin with the world's population and Africa. Surprisingly, Africa's population is a threat to the whole world. But we are not a threat to ourselves. We don't even see it, because African population is dominated with 60% plus being youths. That is, we have low expectancy rate. That is, the number of years we are expected to live on planet Earth is very low in most African countries. And majority of us are youths, which if you follow with what Abini just said, you believe that the youths are at the peak of their creativity, which means Africa is supposed to be admired by the whole world, because we dominate the world when it comes to...
We have a larger youthful population.
And it's based on this that America opened the doors for American embassy, Canadian related jobs, because they want to tap from the youth of Africa. Yes, the contribution, I can say, it's not significant. It's not significant because of the government of this country and the government of most African countries. They have not given us that enabling creative environment. When we come in the domain of education, it's sad to say, but we should be practical. Youths cannot contribute. You take somebody who has studied from first degree right up to master, he does not have an email address. Yes, I'm not killing. You can move. There are masters holder in Cameroon that have never touched. They have not typed one pitch document.
Great. Let me hold you there. Are you going to blame the government for that, or you're going to blame that individual?
The very first thing is the government, because when you give a certificate to somebody to say this person is a master in this domain, after you have supervised a person and you have given a certificate to that person, it means you have attested to to the competence of that person. So by you attesting to the competence of somebody being a master in a domain he cannot do anything in it, means that the government has a question mark.
Just hold it there. Let me turn to Abine to be very sure about this opinion. It's an opinion we are sharing here because I remember back then in the university we used to go to the IT lab and create email addresses and actually do the practicals. And when it came to examination, we did that and we succeeded. But practically in the field, everything disappears from your head. So do you go back to blame those lecturers or to blame the system? Abine, I'm coming back to you. I just want his opinion on that.
Yes, I think I understand where Jared is coming from.
Okay.
Even though I think it's on both sides, but he's right to say the government because, as John C. Maxwell would say, everything rises and falls on leadership. Okay. I told a friend of mine that no, you can't say that no, let's leave the people. I said, you as a leader, it is your responsibility to set up an environment that would almost like compel them for their own good. It's just like when you discipline your child, it's not because you don't like your child, it's not because you don't love your child, it's actually because you love the child. So I think the government, again, we are people who are making efforts, entrepreneurial. So it's not like we're saying that we don't have that side of the responsibility. We do have, but we are in an exam mentality system. Remember the last time we talked about it? We are in a cheating economy where it has shown that if you cheat your way through and you get your certificate, you're good to go. Which means the government has to find a way. One of my radio programs, I was saying that the evaluation and grading system even has to change, where the grading system compels you to go to the field. If the grading system allows you to come and write an exam, you stay in the house. We've done that. I did that in UB. Forgive me. But I did that in the University of Boya. I did that in my university days where you don't come to class. You don't understand anything, but you memorize. And so those times that we go to the IT lab, it's only because we want to validate the course. It's not because we want to understand. And my years of research has shown me that it is possible to activate your memory only for that moment and give you maximum 14 days. You've forgotten everything until you are able to move from the lower parts of the brain, the memory, the reason, perception, to the higher parts of the brain like innovation, imagination, and the willpower. You will continue to struggle. So the government, I agree with him, has the duty, and that's what it means to lead, to make sure that it designs systems, especially in education. You're even nice to call it education. I call it school. It's just organized learning. It's not even education, because educational systems come together, put subsystems together to give you a specific output. But us here, we desire to emerge in 2035, and what we are doing is not even linked to what people would want to emerge.
And I can remember some of the things that they did in line with this emergence. They provided us with a PB. I don't know if you had one when we were doing MBA. I don't know if you had. Did you get one from UB?
I'm sure.
Yes, they call it PB, Power BI Lab in quotes. I think that's what they call it.
I got one there.
So that was also a way for the government to say, okay, you've been to the IT lab, you have done this just for the sake of exams, but when you go home, you should also learn to practice. I also think that we as individuals, as youths, we also owe ourselves that responsibility.
Very true, I agree.
Yes, because sometimes we keep pointing fingers at the government. What is the government not doing? What is the government doing? But we fail to understand that when you realize that you need that self-development, this is actually what you need. You have to work towards it. The government can only assist us in arriving at a certain point. That's my own opinion.
Okay.
The government and the people around us, our lecturers, they are just assisting us. But we have that duty and responsibility to ensure that we get ourselves to that level where you say you move from the lower level to the higher level.
Mirabel, sorry that I'm coming again, and because we're supposed to go back to Gerald, but I think that everything rises and falls on leadership. Okay. And my experience for about a decade now has shown that everything rises and falls on leadership. I bet you might not notice because you're an excellent person, for example, but your children, right from the subconscious mind, because of the example you have set, by the discipline you have shown and the excellence you have pushed consistently over the years, will automatically just be excellent. Trust me. And that's because the leader that they know has shown them. And again, I'm not saying this, I'm saying this as somebody that most of the things I'm saying here is I learned on my own. like personal development, it means going the extra mile. But what I'm saying is, and which I think is what Gerard is saying, that the government, as much as we want to try to be nice, is responsible, right, to set up a conducive environment. Why? If a lecturer, for example, is working in a system that is mainly political than academic, he struggles to keep his head of department happy than he works
Rather
to
than
get
the
the students on board.
Yeah.
And so these students, whom when you check biblically, there is folly in them, naturally need somebody to come and help to shape them up. And that's where the leaders now are supposed to create that environment. Checking that grading and evaluation system. Does it help that young person who is, first of all, naturally lazy and distracted to want to be on board? So you are absolutely right, and we to have our part.
Exactly.
But what we are saying is that it's a two-way thing. What we are saying is that the bigger weight lies on the government. Because if they set up the right policies, it would take away a lot of those other issues that we have along the line.
Yeah.
So the onus goes back to the government. We encourage entrepreneurship. We encourage people working on themselves, because that's what we should do. But that should be to add value into a government that's already created the system that is conducive. And one of those who has taken my life into my hands. So I'm not saying that the government has to do everything.
Yeah.
But I think and I believe that if the government, or when the government would set up a proper educational system, I assure you, things are going to change. Because to destroy a nation is to destroy the educational system, and you have destroyed our nation.
Yeah,
You
Mira,
come back to Mr. Gerald.
the truth be told, when you look at strategic development, it's not about individual development. For example, as a mother, now you can make a decision that poverty will not exist in this family in the next 10 years, in the next 15 years. You cannot eradicate poverty in 2 years.
No.
It's impossible. When I talk about government taking responsibility, if you move to a country like China, at one point they were at the same level of development or below Cameroon. What moved them up? They took strategic decision to actually evaluate students, pupils in their basic level, to see their direction, personal development. Like, the best thing you can do is to know from birth. Come to think of it, you have studied journalism, you have studied agriculture, you have studied this, to at the end of the day to dive to a direction after wasting about 20 years. Then you have a nation
20 useful years of your life.
Then you have a nation that builds you up to identify things that you are good at, and after 10 years you take a direction. Come to think of it, that they identify you at the age of 13, that you are good when it comes to the kitchen. Then you build up on those skills, get marketing skills, get the technical skills. The technical skills is your ability to cook. Then the marketing and managerial skills in the next 5 years. By the time you are at Upsit, you are a CEO.
I agree with you. I just want to go back to what a little child around us told the mom that, Mom, I want to go for American Got Talent competition. American Got Talent competition. I don't know if you have fallen on that competition. It's a competition where sometimes you have the very young people who come, they sing, they exhibit what they know, and you have coaches. Like I don't know, there is like a policy where the government has put in place where you build this talent of the children. But when it comes to our country, Cameroon, we don't. I just want to, please, in quotes, say, don't quote me anywhere. I'm putting it in quotes because we think that we don't encourage our little children to grab what is in them, to actually come out of their comfort zone to get what they actually want. You have this child who is very good, who thinks that he or she is very good at gymnastics at home, even in school. But what are the structures that have been put in place to see into it that once a child is identified with this talent, let us push this child ahead? So I think I want to agree with you on that. I think maybe I cut you short.
100%, Mira. Just come to think of our son Onana, who is making Cameroon so proud. Let me give credit to the president of FECAFO, Mr. Etophis, Samuel Etophis. There's somebody who identify Onana in his 14. Look at when we are talking about goalkeeping in the world today, he's changing the game altogether. That's a Cameroonian. Truth be told, Cameroonians are talented in every field. Believe you me, there are more than 100 Onanas in Boyaye that they did not identify in different aspects of life.
Which means that environment,
that
environment,
culture,
enabling
the culture that has been
Yes.
designed, and that's where you see. I'm not sure we can have this kind of conversation without talking about the educational. Let me call it educational system.
Yes.
I don't think so, because what we have as educational system is one designed by the oppressor for the oppressed. The colonial masters designed our system to make us serve them better. That system was not designed to make you and I masters of our destiny. That system was not designed to raise your sense of worth. That system was not designed to improve your self-concept. That system was not designed to give you a better self-image, because the reason for that system was to create an educated slave. So what they did is that they only taught us to read, write, and do arithmetic, but they never told you that you have all the potential already. And reading, writing, and doing arithmetic is just to help you to unleash your potential. So
serve them better.
And so what is lacking, and the reason why we cannot have many Onanas, is because the Onanas around are carried away by petty things. When you have a high sense of self-esteem, first of all, it makes you humble and you easily learn. When you have a high self-esteem, it makes you to become somebody who sees yourself as a game changer, as my brother was saying, and it therefore pushes you to go beyond the average to do more. But this our system, which I keep coming back to, is one that tells you to pass an exam and have a certificate. And then because we are in a very corrupt culture, which is why they give us poor leaders, as you were saying, right? You know that you just have to cheat your way through. So I call it a cheating economy, where we are in a society where young people don't want to make any effort. One thing I learned as I grew is that don't tell each other, wow, you had A grade. Tell them, wow, you made effort. They keep on lying to us that there's nothing like intelligence, there's nothing like door. It is a function of effort. There are some children who excel because of the kind of environment they grew up, where they told them that you are a master, you are the best, you can do this. While there is somebody who has all the potential you can imagine, and they keep telling them that you are the worst, you are very stupid, you only know how to swallow fufu. And they grow with that. So their self-esteem has been destroyed. So what's going on, and that's why he mentioned strategic development, strategic leadership. What you do is that you design systems that on their own can replicate good products. That's why what good leaders do is that they build cultures, and you build cultures by making difficult decisions. In this house, no more phones after 7. Everybody is compelled to come and give a report on a book they were supposed to read last week. You see that? You establish a culture, and that's where leaders come in now. John C. Maxwell is maybe the best in leadership in the world today, and he said that everything rises and falls on leadership. No matter how it is. When the sons of Eli, Hophni and Phinehas, when they were misusing God's temple as priests, the Ark of the Covenant was actually seized from Israel by the Philistines. But when that Ark was taken to the Philistines, they took it to Succoth, they took it to Ekron, they took it to Gath. It dealt with all their gods. It gave them balls and everything. The same Ark that was seized from Israel. Why? Because the leaders of the temple were doing the wrong thing. And so you see the power of having the wrong leaders or having the right leaders. So, Madam Mirabe, we're in a situation where everything that the youths in Cameroon are able to do is as a function of the educational system that they've gone through. And until we are moving away from those 3 R's, read, write, arithmetic, those are the most fundamental things that any human being can do. And then begin to help these young people now, which is the reason I'm proposing personal development, to improve their self-esteem, improve their self-concept, improve their self-image, build their confidence, and believe that this can change the world. We will continue to struggle, and then we'll begin to do these little droplets. Look at what Christ Jesus alone did. John 21:25 says that if everything is said and did was written, even the world cannot contain it. One man, and Joshua told the moon and the sun to stop moving. One man, and they stopped. Look at what one man could do. And then yet we have millions of Cameroonians. 94% of Cameroonians are below 54 years. 94%. Imagine that.
Which
And
means
imagine
we
what
have a
could do.
huge active population in
Exactly.
our country.
Exactly.
And now we have been looking at how can the youths remain relevant in a rapidly changing society. And I would like us to highlight some of the changing dynamics in the economic, social, and other spheres like religion, which the youths are supposed to be conscious of. Mr. Gerald.
The very first aspect is the education they've received.
Okay.
Technology has come. Technology will stay. Technology is improving
It will take over.
geometrically. Geometrically is even an underrating of it, which means at your individual level as a youth, you need to ask yourself. You need to do a SWOT analysis of yourself. Ask yourself, what are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? What are the opportunities that the world offer? How can I tap from these opportunities? For example, today, there are many guys. I have a young man who is in Douala and is working in US. He's earning more than 2 million a month. He's in Douala, based in Douala. They call him in the neighborhood scammer, machine guy.
Machine guy.
But he's doing a genuine job and he's making his money. And believe you me, technology is changing so rapidly. So as a youth, you must adapt to technology. You must ask yourself, what have I? Draw a strategic plan of your life and ask yourself, every 6 months, get into tactical plan and then operational plan. What aspect of IT am I going to change in it? Then you need to change in terms of the expectation of what the society had many years ago.
It's
And
different
It's different
from what they have now.
from what they have now. It's not about studying to become a medical doctor. Besides, medical doctors, averagely, if you don't take an entrepreneurial medical doctor, they are normal average people in the society. It is not to study to become engineers. You know about Sabinos in Nigeria?
Yeah.
They call him Emmanuel. He is one of the richest comedian in Nigeria. These are guys that picked out a talent. He was he read journalism or related program in the university. So when technology just came, he realized that he can make people laugh. He developed on that. Sabinus is a business. That has a manager, board of director, marketers, him alone. So these are aspects that you need to change, evaluate yourself, and don't look at things, don't underrate things. For example, youths will obviously look at somebody cooking. Somebody who own a restaurant, that's a mean job. Auntie Mira, I have people in this boya that are making 1 million francs. 1 million francs. I only had this because I had an opportunity to do tax related document with some of these persons. The profit that they made, I'm talking of net profit, not gross profit, is 1 million francs. How many multinational companies are able to pay people 1 million francs? These are talents. So in the dimensions of religion, we should change our mindset. We have men of God that came on board and say, hey, you can pray, I have miracle money, you can do this and God will bless you. The highest blessing that God has given us is a good brain. That is the highest blessing, the ability. God is a father that does not discriminate. Mira, you have children. Do you really wish anyone to be poor?
No.
Even the related children in your neighborhood, if you and I, that we are sinners, can still think good about our children, what more of God in heaven who created us? So he just give us your direction. Oh, I want to be an employee. We have a change in mentality. We have people that if they bring out anything, 90% will be about criticisms. And you need to be a thick skin.
Yeah,
a very thick skin. A skin that you want to start business. And I quite remember I just met with one person that I've started a vocational institution. He said, Gerald, you will not succeed with that thing. I just left the place and said, Gerald, you will succeed with this thing.
You have already succeeded.
That before coming here, I've already succeeded.
Yeah.
That I'm here to implement. That you will not succeed.
So go behind me, Satan.
You will not succeed with this thing. So you need, as a youth, you need to build up a mindset. You need a mindset not to believe that your family is responsible for anything. Mira, let's look at people who have made it in life. Let's start with our father, Jesus Christ. Who was his father? Joseph. What was his job? Carpenter. What was his job? He was a carpenter. Let's look at many aspects of life. The origin of people. Go and research about Cristiano Ronaldo. Research about even Etophis. They many years ago, nobody knew about their families. Myself, my father was a night watchman, security man. But he has produced medical doctors. Yeah. He has produced myself that have employed myself and many other persons.
I'm happy you came back to yourself, because sometimes we look at the other people out there. We want to look at the Dangotes, we want to look at those who have the big names, but we forget to realize that we are inspirators.
Yeah, the real life heroes.
Yes, because we inspire those people who are around us. I used to tell people that when I was very young, I used to sell groundnuts. I used to sell a hawk with eggs and groundnuts from Checkpoint down to Moliko. And one lady said, "Madam, are you sure you're not lying to me?" And I asked, why should I lie to you? Because we keep looking at people who are very far away from us, but just around us, you have people whom you can say, oh, I watched this guy grow from
That's what I
nothing.
change of mindset is important.
Change of mindset.
Because it's a mindset.
From nothing to something.
It's a mindset. You see, it's an entitlement mindset.
Yeah.
And it goes back to the way we have been taught in school. You see, they lie to us. And they're still lying to us today. Yes, they lie to us that you go to a technical school, you're dull. A very fat lie. Those are the guys who are making the millions today.
Yeah.
They lie to us that if you go to a technical school and become a plumber, that you're dull.
Abine, let me inform you that in this Boya, if you have a problem with your car fan, you can move to 10 different garages. Nobody will be there to arrange it. They'll direct you to one other person that can use 2 minutes. But these are the guys making money. And these are the guys. Mira, the only thing is that they still believe they have a problem with self-esteem.
Perfect.
Technicians have a problem with self-esteem. Many technicians in this Boya, their take home a month is more than 600,000. I'm not killing about it, but they have a problem with self-esteem. They still believe that they are the low class. And they still believe that they are not contributing to a society.
Enough to the society.
Yeah. So these are aspects that I believe that we should change. Let me answer your question in summary now. We should change our mindset as youths. We should believe in ourselves. In as much as we are blaming the government, it's time for the youths to say, oh, my father is a useless man, he is a drunkard, if at all he is, but I have to change the situation of this family. I will not sit, it's a global world. When you are good, when you are relevant, let me give an example of yourself and Batebo. These are two persons that have worked in 3 different organizations. They call them brothers and sisters. When I came and looked at their relationship, I said it's a skill-based relationship. This one is tapping from the talents of this, and this other person is tapping from the talents of this. They merge together, and they are doing well at their job site. So 90% of what connect them is skills.
Value.
Take value out of them in two, and it's because they are improving. Everybody is struggling to improve on this aspect. So this is the direction that we, the youths, should be. Be on our self-esteem. Believe that if nobody supports you, accept the family you are coming from. When I talk about my father, I wish he was alive. Accept the family that this is this man who is earning 20,000. This is this man who used to earn 20,000 and transform. Also, now that I'm at this level, you cannot talk carelessly to me because my father earned 20,000 and I'm here now. So with the talents I'm having now, I'm able to multiply that 100-fold. So these are the dynamics that youths today need to accept and move forward.
Thank you so very much. I think Abine, you have a contribution to that.
Yes, I think he has articulated so many things. First of all, because if you look at economically today, things are getting rough. And that's why we can no longer be people who are just waiting to go to a job, for example. Except you want to steal. And you see, that's why leadership is so important, because when a society is created where it's all about stealing, because that's the only reason why civil servants are the richest in the nation. Civil servants generally are those who sacrifice their life for a nation.
Yeah.
You earn something not close at all to what you deserve.
To what you deserve.
But you sacrifice to
A
create
lot.
that kind of environment that enables, especially the private sector, to excel. That's why when you come to a society where the private sector is not excelling, the government sector is excelling, and there's a lot of stealing going on. So except you want to steal, the economy is so complicated today. The trend, everything is getting... The other day I was talking to a taxi driver. They just got to the next day. Petrol moved from 7,500 to 8,000 francs. That's what he was telling me. And so they've increased the fare, which means we have to find a way to keep creating wealth. And the only way to create wealth is to create more value.
Yeah.
That's where the change of mindset comes in. A change where, you know, as I said, the school that we've gone to is one that was designed to keep us slaves. The school that people are going to today is designed to keep them slaves, except those who get corrupt and steal. Quote me anywhere. As school system, you mentioned about self-esteem. And that's why you see, there was this school that I led in the creation.
Yeah.
And the goal was that take the people from technical school who can do, they cannot talk. Take the people from grammar who can talk plenty grammar, they cannot do anything. And do a combination of both. That's what we need today. That's why you see so many of these technical people, they can produce so much value, but they cannot do business. They cannot do business because they don't even see themselves capable of managing people, of managing a negotiation. All they do is just do, and then they do a transactional thing. They have not mindset, right? And that's why I love the way this conversation is going. There is an economic part. Things are becoming more complicated every day. And even the business people now have to say, how do I raise my game? But if you look at the social demands, today now, if you're not a disciplined person, you want to go around spending money, throwing it anywhere. You think that to make money is everything. You make and you spend. There's a social trend that makes people to want to show that they are there. There's a social trend that pushes people to want to not have standards anymore. Even our African society is losing its standards. That's why some of these African nations, you know, that are making some of these very hard rules against certain things like LGBTQ plus and stuff. We are happy, you know, because Africa has always been a place of value. That's why respect is one of our things. You have to respect the elderly people.
You must.
Even sometimes when they don't deserve it, but you have to respect them because it's an African society. And then it jumps out to the religious part where there is a need for us to have a renewal of our mind. Christ Jesus, Yeshua HaMashiach, whatever I want to call him, was an amazing person. He said it there, just one line, Romans 12 verse 2, that you must have a renewal of your mind. He said you must be able to get to the point where even food is not a big deal for you. Because in this economic trend where things are getting more expensive every day, where businesses too are struggling because taxes are rising every day, how do you keep creating wealth? You must create more value. That's where we must understand that even when you follow a trend, like everybody wants to do IT today, the IT guys who are very broke, while there's some IT guys who are billionaires. What makes the difference? There is one who has a sense of purpose, right? That gives self-esteem. This is a very critical conversation. When somebody has a sense of self-esteem, sense of self-worth, sense of self-concept, there is a different way to approach even failure. Today, failure is used to define people. A school system can never be able to put a grade on the potential you carry. But that's what our school systems do today. Until sometimes they even name people. They say that one door, they put you in bench C. That one they normal, they put you in bench B. That one gets sense, they put you.
Please let me just contribute to that. There was a time we went for our student reunion. We realized that 90% of the guys with 19 to 25 points, they are just struggling or average
to survive.
Some of the guys that drop in Form 4 are controlling the economy now. They have created businesses, moved to US, moved to this direction. But these are guys that the school system said they are useless.
Exactly.
These are guys that women refuse them because of they believe that they don't have any IQ. They're foolish guys.
Yes.
But these are guys that are creating it today. Exactly. They are changing the game. So we need an education system that will come and say, oh, look, there is a potential in you. Evaluate you that you are not good in this aspect, but you are good in this aspect.
Oh, yes.
So this is a system that China use. Mira, we am a proprietor of a vocational institution.
Yeah.
Believe you me, my one of the staff that has been consistent had her first degree in biochemistry. She came and studied basic Microsoft for 3 months. I hired her as a secretary. From a secretary, she has moved to the position of a manager. She's next to me.
Wow.
But there are individuals in that same company that have master's degree in accountancy. This is the aspect that we are talking about, that you evaluate a human being. You say you are good in this aspect.
Yeah.
You are good in this aspect. You don't categorize and come to the point that you come to the assembly ground and call the last 3 in class, then simulate them, then call the first 3. That is, you make these human beings not to have dignity. Then when they come back to their family, they don't have any dignity. We are in a fair.
And they come back to the family members too. We join the teachers.
We join the
condemn
teacher,
everybody. You are
child,
not good at anything. You
a
only know how
child
to eat.
comes, attends Mira. Let's say Junior come and tell you that I want to be the president of Cameroon. The first thing is that you will laugh.
Oh,
There you
wow.
go.
You will laugh. Then the next thing he can say, hey, I read about Dangote that is the richest. Mommy, I want to be the richest person in Africa. You don't be richest person for Cameroon for our family. These are words from mothers.
Yeah.
These words you don't know. You don't know how much it has taken the dignity of your child behind. So as youth, we should keep our heads up. Be focused.
Self-confidence.
Don't let somebody define you. Some individuals, a guy met me, and one person met me one time. I said, Gerard, I knew you in Boya. You had 3 trousers. I said, so you define me with the three colors of
I had.
Yes, I said, no, that is not what we are talking about now. That was the definition of Gerard then. And
but it was not a fixed Gerard.
It was not a fixed Gerard. So today, don't let people define you with their past. You were a prostitute. You were this.
And you stay in that past.
No, then you stay in the past. Tell the person that I graduated long.
Exactly. Change of mindset.
I've changed my mindset. I'm now this. Talk to me about the proprietor of this. Don't talk to me about the person you knew many years ago who was this.
I think what you're trying to say is that our past should make us proud of our future.
Yes.
Because if you acknowledge your past and you say, okay, yeah, I was, you say I had 3 trousers, fine, but that led me to this future where I am now. So let us briefly look at how our youths. We have said everything here, but just let us just give some key points for our youths to keep in their minds, such that they remain relevant in this rapidly changing society.
Well, I think it's not very complicated. Well, I've said it, but not the way maybe we would say it now. Number 1 is that you must find your niche. You must find the one thing that you are best at. That's why I decided to take the path I took. When you give people clarity, one of my clients called me today and I spoke, and he was like, at least I cannot take action, because he had clarity. Because when there is clarity, results will come. The first and primary thing is for you to know what you are good at, and there are ways to discover that. Again, we'll not be talking about here because it's coaching, it's not training, it's not speaking. You can speak and train and you leave, but coaching is a long-term thing. Number 1, identify it. That's why Proverbs 18:16 is very clear that your gifts will bring you before great kings. Proverbs 22:29 is clear that you will not stand before obscure men if you become good at what you do. That's a primary thing, which means you have to discover that thing. You have to discover your potential. You also have to be able to discover your purpose, because what purpose does is that it gives you the discipline to be able to work on yourself. And I think that's a challenge today. And when you work on yourself, it will automatically improve your self-esteem. When you improve your self-esteem, it will give you self-confidence to take action. When you begin to take action and you're confident, then you have strategy. And when you're strategic, you get results. That is why you must have a growth mindset. A mindset of learning every single day. That's why if you are defined by the marks you have from an exam, it means that you have no idea where you are. And that's what fixed mindset people do. So find your niche, find your gift, find your talent. I'm not talking about your skills, right? Because you find your gift and then you get the skills to add up now to grow your gift. Find purpose, because it will give you the discipline, because purpose is what you were born to do, and then vision is what you see right? You have purpose in the form of pictures, and then you design a mission now to accomplish that vision so that you can fulfill your purpose. So find purpose and then have a growth mindset. If you have this, right, and then you fail, look for me and pay me some money to train you more and coach you more.
Thank you so very much. Those words are also added to wisdom.
Of course, of course.
All right, let us also listen to Mr. Amungwa Gerald.
Mira, our youths should disease from the blow mentality to growth, and growth takes time, which means you should define yourself, be consistent with what you're doing, because nothing good, the results cannot come in the next day. You need to be consistent. You need to believe that challenges will come. Challenges should come as a booster to you. And most importantly, let nobody, even your mother, even your family member, deviate you or make you feel a sub-human being. Don't let your past in any way
Affects your future.
Remain consistent. Believe that you can do it. And since I'm in the domain of vocational training, I believe that this is a pathway. I've gone through this level. At any point in time, when you carry a SWOT analysis and ask yourself, I have an MBA in this, I have a BSc in this, can I actually defend this degree? Can I walk up to this? Mira graduated as best student in my batch, but there was a point I looked at the demand of a marketing manager. I said, I'm not fit for this position. I went back to the drawing board. I went back to the drawing board
to see how you could improve.
How can I improve myself in the next 3 years in such a way that when I said this is me at this level, I'm capable of defending it. So you must carry out this self-evaluation, believe in yourself, be consistent. Obviously, challenges will come, but growth is obvious.
Thank you so very much. We cannot stay stagnant while the world is changing, so we have to keep on developing ourselves. Mr. Amungwa Gerald, proprietor of Champions Chartered and Vocational Institute of Buea. It has been a wonderful thing having you on the program. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
And Mr. Aya Abine, our coach, our entrepreneurial coach, our writer, and a lot of beautiful things in one person. We appreciate your presence on today's edition of the program.
It's a privilege to serve. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much. And we say thank you for watching this edition of Issues on Divine Mercy Radio Television. It is here that we come to the end of this program, and we are inviting you to join us next week, same time, same channel. Until then, you can tune onto DMR TV and have a replay of this program at 8:30 p.m. every Saturdays. Thank you for watching and stay tuned to DMR TV. Goodbye.